We're here on a wonderful Friday evening live. Usually we do our NBA Pick'em Dummies, but this time we decided to go with a live show because the NBA playoffs, well, I guess they've begun, really. I mean, the play-in tournament is a part of the playoffs, but the official playoffs start tomorrow. So we're going to jump into our picks, who we think has the best opportunity to win in the first round. And like always, if this is your first time listening to us, or maybe you've heard us before but haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit the notification button.
Don't forget to slap that doorbell. Slap that doorbell.
The like button. That's the one I'm missing. Hit the like button on the video. We appreciate that. I knew there was one more. I didn't
You were getting there.
I just needed a little help. All right. Well, hopefully folks are getting ready for a nice weekend. The work week is over for the most of us, except for the man next to me who still has one more day to go, but he's almost there. He's almost there. And while we're on the subject, B man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It is nice and hot out here in the Bay Area. Can't be mad. I think we are done with the rain for quite a bit here, so now it's time for sunshine and hot weather here. Although I don't know about you, man, but I had an allergy problem last week. Like that
it's getting us
no
now.
joke.
Yeah,
that was bad, bro.
It's getting us right now, man. But just getting my allergy meds in the morning and continue through my day. At least
hopefully my power doesn't go out tonight either.
Yeah, hopefully your power, hopefully PG&E doesn't get allergies and cut your power off. Yeah, man, that was crazy. But I'm glad you're back. I don't know why your power went out. I don't think there was any subsequent weather.
There was no explanation.
Just none.
It just went out.
Was that one of those weird? Was it one of those weird rolling blackout things they used to do? They don't do that anymore.
No, not even. Because the funny part is down the street they had power.
Oh, all right.
It didn't make sense.
Weird car accidents.
But our entire block was out of power.
Dang, man. Well, I'm glad you guys got out of the dark. Let's jump into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the East, and we're going to look at the teams that are matched up in the East and see who we feel is going to win these series and a little bit about why. The most dangerous matchup of them all has to be the first one, and that's the top-seeded Celtics against the number 8 Miami Heat. Now, there's no question the Celtics have been the best team all season long in the entire NBA. They're 64-18. But the scary part is you never know what to expect from the Miami Heat. They've done this before. They actually beat Milwaukee in the first round a couple of years ago, or was it last year?
It was last year.
I think it was last year. So This team has been known to cause upsets. I don't know if people even gave them a chance today against the Bulls, seeing as how they were missing Jimmy Butler, and they found a way to get it done. They're like they never quit. They're like a zombie, man. So this is going to be interesting because, like I said, the Heat is one of those teams where you don't know how or why, but they execute a very well thought out game plan from one of the best head coaches in the game. And they just get it done. They just do their job and get it done, man. They're if a college team had NBA players, that's what the Miami Heat would be.
I couldn't agree with you anymore on that. Like it's amazing how they're gonna literally follow the same path that they took last year.
Yeah.
Losing the 7-8 game, winning the last matchup here. And then getting seeded against the number 1 team.
Yep.
Last year it was the Bucks. They took care of that. Now injuries are a part of the playoffs here, so there's no excuses for it. You still need to come up and show out here, but this is going to be a little different. This is the Boston Celtics, who have been the best team all year, defensively and offensively here. When you look at the matchups here, I think the big one to stand out is Bam Adebayo and I think Kristaps Porzingis here. You're going to expect what you're going to really expect from everybody else, but I think this is going to come down to the center between Adebayo and Kristaps Porzingis, because Kristaps is going to bring Bam out to the 3-point line. So he's going to keep that area clear because he's going to have to defend that because Kristaps can shoot the three. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but you have to respect it. So I think you're going to see him kind of lean a little more towards the top of the key and around the 3-point line, which will open the paint for the Boston Celtics. So, and I think if Jimmy Butler comes back, that injury really didn't help him. They got past the Bulls today, but you're going to need Himmy Butler for
Well,
that series here.
I'm telling you right now, I think the Celtics have way more offensive firepower than the Heat do. Not only that, they didn't just add Porzingis; they also added Drew Holiday, who is a pretty stout defensive player and can at least give guys like Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler some problems. So I think the Celtics will come out this game and they will be beating. I think they'll be beating the Heat pretty bad. But where they have to be careful is, and the Celtics have done this before, is not to let the Heat back into the game. Because this is one of those teams that really, really hangs their hat on being an underdog. And just because you're up by 10 or 12 or 15 points doesn't mean you won the game. So it's really going to be on the Celtics to stay focused throughout. There's no doubt in my mind that the Celtics have the firepower. They have the defensive players. They have the game plan. They've got it all. And the only way they lose the Heat is if they lose focus, and they start to lose their wits, which we've seen happen before. I mean, it's happened to the Celtics themselves, happened to them in the finals, happened to them in the playoffs last year against this very same team. So I think they've got to. This is their year to show that they can get over the hump. I think this is a great test for them to get the Heat as the first round matchup. Because if they can get past the Heat, because we know the Heat plays hard, it'll definitely set them up for success whenever they take on the whoever the next lowest seed is. So yeah, man, I'm still picking the Celtics to win this series. I think the Heat take 2 games, and this ends up being 4-2 for the Celtics.
You know me, I like making bad picks, so here it comes.
Here we go.
I'm taking the Miami Heat. I'm taking the Heat in 7. I'm taking the Heat in 7. I wanted to ask you this here. There was a good topic of conversation if Jason Tatum is the superstar or just a good athlete here. Is this playoff run very big for him in this aspect? How big is this playoff? Not only that, but just for his superstar level. How big is this for Jason Tatum?
I think this is huge. This is one of those guys who's been right outside of that quote-unquote superstar title that people have been wanting to put on him, but he just hasn't lived up to it, and not to say that he hasn't been a great player, but really it's been, his incapability of taking over games in the playoffs. Yeah. So we've seen it a couple of times. We saw it against the Warriors in the finals. We saw it against the Heat, in the conference finals. And everything last year was set up for the Celtics to meet and play against the Denver Nuggets, which I thought would have been a spectacular series. But instead, they lost their wits. They lost their focus, and they let the Heat take it from them. And so the Heat ended up playing the Denver Nuggets, which was a terrible matchup. The Denver has... I mean, the Heat are so undersized. They have no chance against Denver. It just wasn't a good matchup. So, yeah. This is his opportunity to take that step out of being a very good player and into being a super or a star caliber player into a superstar player. And that's what we're looking for. Tatum, I've watched him play. He can put up points in bunches. He's up and down defensively, but can defend. I mean, the guy as far as size is crazy. You're talking, this is a 6'8" guard. He's a big dude. And so I think what's lacking is sort of the capability for him to be clutch in big moments, which we look for from a lot of our big players, and really them just figuring out who shoots when. I mean, you don't forget you've got Brown on that team too. And, he's just as capable of putting up 27, 28, 30 points. So the question is, do they figure out how to put it together as a team so that guys can get what they need to get the buckets they need, or distribute this, whatever they need to get the job done. Can they get it accomplished? But if he's going to be the leader of the team, I'm going to need to see more effort from him on the defensive end, and I'm going to need to see a downhill driving Jason Tatum, not a necessarily jump shooting a lot of threes. That's nice, but in the playoffs, you're going to have to get to the free throw line. You're going to have to attack the rim. You cannot rely on threes and jumpers to win the games, and that's something they fell into last year playing against the Heat.
I honestly think he cannot have a single bad game in this postseason here.
Dang, right.
A single bad game, because we've seen those just pop up too many times in the last 2 years for Jason Tatum here. Yeah. And look, he makes it very clear he wants to have that Mamba mentality, have that same style. Well, I'm gonna tell you this: as far as for watching a lot of Kobe Bryant games, he rarely had a bad playoff game. It was very rare that you saw that from him. So if you want to adapt that mentality, this is what it's going to take. So there's going to be an extreme focus that needs to take part on Jason Tatum to make sure that he can put a stamp on each game. Even if they lose, his presence is felt here. When they lose, it's because he has been just, he's god awful shooter. The man is, like you said, is 6'8", playing a point guard position, should have no problem getting to the hoop against anyone to say here. So I think this is going to be big for Jason Tatum to take that next leap to superstar status. But unfortunately, the Heat will end that in a 4-3 win on the road in the Boston Garden.
Oh man, well, we'll see how it plays out, man. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is the 2 seed, the surprising 2 seed, the New York Knicks. Fought their way in the latter part of the season into the second spot, and they are taking on the woeful, but hopeful Philadelphia 76ers. You know what? This is definitely set up to be an upset. The Knicks have no way to guard Joel Embiid, but we have to remember, this isn't the Joel Embiid of the regular season. This is the playoff Joel Embiid, who is garbage. Last year, they had an opportunity to play in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics, and they blew it. Him and James Harden completely were not able to get it done. I don't trust that Embiid is fully healthy. I don't trust that he's going to be able to take over the game enough to beat the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks, although they're missing, they're missing their star player Julius Randle. I feel like they could definitely make some noise. I think Jalen Brunson is more than enough to get it going for them. They play at a good pace. They've got some great hard-nosed players in DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, who do everything. They can shoot threes. They can guard.
Yeah.
And they're guys that really play. The Knicks play hard. And the 76ers, Tobias Harris. I like Tyrese Maxey. But the motor I think that you get from the guys on the Knicks is going to put them over the top. So I'm picking the Knicks to beat the 76ers, but I'm picking them to do it in 5 games. I think the Knicks will get it done. So Knicks will win 4-1 and move on.
All right. I honestly think this has a upset in the making here. Can Jalen Brunson take over what is a very good season? You could say even an MVP quality season into the postseason here. Let's not forget Dante DiVincenzo has been a very good 3-point shooter for them this year as well. But Joel Embiid in the middle is just too much for any team, to say the least here. I think for the 76ers, Tyrese Maxey has to match Jalen Brunson, and that is going to be a very tall task to stay shot for shot with him here. But I just think the Knicks have just a little more on the bench side to get him past that. And remember, Joel Embiid is still, he came back from an injury. He's still trying to recover from that too. So that game speed still needs to come. So in order for the 76ers to really pull this upset off, they got to slow the game down. They cannot allow the Knicks to get in transition. and you're gonna have to figure out who you want to stop here. If you stop Jalen Brunson here, you better hope no one else, like Josh Hart, Dante. You hope none of those guys can get hot from the 3-point line because they light it up just as well here. So
And
I'm
don't
going
forget
to
that they
take.
made a trade with Detroit
That's right,
for Bojan Bogdanovic. So they've got some firepower over there.
they do, and they could be the sleeper of the Eastern Conference here, but I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to take the 76ers in 6 games
Oh my
for
goodness, man!
two.
B, that's two upsets in a row, man.
Two upsets in a row, man. Look, man, we've seen crazier things happen in the NBA.
Yeah.
So let's go with it here. I'm going to take the 76ers 4-2, close them out at home in Philly.
All right, and now we've got some of the games that maybe you might want to skip a few games whenever you're in this. We'll start with the 3-6 matchup, which has a lot riding on it. This is the first year of the Dame Antetokounmpo matchup, and unfortunately, Antetokounmpo is probably not going to play. He did injure himself towards the end of the season with a calf strain, and so this might end up being if they can squeak out this first game victory at home, it's going to be because of Dame Lillard. They're going to need him to step up and be the Dame of old if they want to be able to if they want to get through this series without Giannis. I think Giannis should come back at some point, although I don't know when that will be. The Pacers, great offensive, talented young team with Halliburton, and who did they pick up? Siakam. But unfortunately, they don't play any defense at all. The Pacers have never played defense. They haven't played any defense all season, and the Bucks do. So I think the Bucks, if they can stay attentive defensively, and Dame can be OG Dame and show up. I mean, you got to remember, Damian Lillard has not been in the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs a lot, but he hasn't really had an opportunity to go deep into the playoffs. I think he's only gotten out of the first round maybe once or twice, maybe. And that was against when they knocked off OKC. That's the only one I can remember. So I think this is an opportunity for him. Hopefully, we see him return to his old form. And I don't like the fact that the Pacers just played no defense at all, and I think that's really gonna hurt them against a Bucks team, even without Giannis, that is more than capable of defending and knocking down threes. So I'm gonna take the Bucks. The Bucks get it done. I'll give the Pacers 2 games, 4-2 Bucks.
Wow. With no Giannis,
Yeah, man.
you think they could do it?
Have you seen the Pacers play?
Have you seen the Bucks play since they hired?
No, you're right.
Since they've hired Doc Rivers, it ain't been impressive to say the
Pacers. They just shoot, man. That's all they do.
Let me ask you this. So yeah, this is going to be a shootout here. Now this can favor Damian Lillard here, but let me read off you his supporting cast, and let me tell you if this jumps out to you. Malik Beasley, Chris Livingston, Bobby Portis Big Eyes, Brooke Lopez Old, Danilo Gallinari, I didn't know he was still in the league.
He doesn't play.
AJ Green, Ty Washington Jr., washed up Chris Middleton, Angry Man Patrick Beverly, Pat Connington. I mean, Giannis's brother, but that he's just garbage. Jay Crowder. I know.
He ain't playing.
But you know what I'm saying? When you look at this Bucks lineup here, honestly, I wouldn't be afraid of it if I was a Pacer fan. I think the Pacers are going to win this series here. And for the fact that matters, they just have Tyrese Halliburton. Granted, this is going to be a true test for him, but you got Siakam, who's been through these before. You have Miles Turner, so they have themselves a legitimate big man in the middle here. And I just think that the Pacers have just been a little more, as far as consistent goes. They do give up a lot of points, but they also score a lot of points as well here.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Bucks have enough to match the Pacers for what they need to do here. So I think this is another. I don't think this is going 7. I think this is going 5, and it's going to be the Pacers in 5.
Dang, another upset.
I don't see Milwaukee being able to hang. You are asking Damian Lillard to carry this team in the Eastern Conference. This isn't the West anymore. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a little different for him. Can he carry a brand new team until Giannis can get back? And we don't know when Giannis is scheduled to come back. So that's going to be a tall task for Damian here. And it's, I just think the Pacers just have a little more firepower than the Bucks do when you look at matchups here. So Pacers in 5.
All right. All right. So let's move on to the other matchup. So does anybody watch either of these teams play on television? Probably not. The Cavaliers are taking on the Magic in the 4-5 matchup, and gotta tell you right now, I've seen them play. I've seen the Cavs play. I have not seen the Magic play. I have no idea what's going on, folks. Let's just keep it 100. The Magic, Orlando Magic, are a nice little team. They got a lot of young talent. Greg Anthony's son, of course, who's playing there as the point guard. They got some other folks on that team that will be named later, and taking on a pretty stout Cavs team who has had its issues, but does have the talent with Donovan Mitchell, and you got their two bigs with Jared Allen and oh man, I'm missing on the other kid's name, but they have
Evan Mobley.
There you go, and Evan Mobley. Those are two great players in the middle. They got their own little twin towers going on, and I think they're solid. I think they've been a fairly solid team throughout the season. Nothing to write home about, but solid. This is going to be a tough one. This is the series I think is going 7 games. I think I'm gonna take the Cavs to win in 7 games, with the advantage really just being playing at home. So give me the Cavs in 7 against the Magic.
This is a very young Magic team. Not a whole lot of veteranship here. But the one thing that the Magic do, and I mean, not a lot of people know because, like you said, we weren't watching a whole lot of Magic games, but this team plays defense. They do play some really good defense on that end of the ball here. And I think with, the amount of talent that Cleveland has, I don't think they're a 4 seed. This should have been a 2-seeded team here.
Yeah.
In my eyes here, with the amount of talent that they have. Up and down the roster here, I mean, you can only name really one player on the Magic, and that's Pablo Banchero. When it gets to anyone else, it's who kind of mentality here. But look, that who took them into the 5th seed here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they did. There was a lot of good basketball played by the Magic. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the Cavs on this one here. Too much firepower on that end there.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell is going to have a field day against that team. Evan Mobley, like you said, Jared Allen. Garland still with them, right?
Yeah. Yep, he sure is. There's Garland is
so
still there.
You got Mitchell and Garland kind of heading that there. It's just that's too much for the Magic to try to handle. It's been a very long time since the Magic have been in the playoffs, so I'm happy for them. But I'm going to take the Cavs in 4. I think this is a I think it's a
sweep. All right. Well,
yeah, I'm going
Cavs
with a
sweep. And there you have it. B pretty much is picking every single team to upset except for the Cavaliers. They're the only hot seed that
Go figure, right? Go figure, right?
Okay. Pretty much. All right. Well, then there you go. So now let's move over to the West. Before I take a look at the West, I'm gonna check on the game to see.
I'll tell you this right now:
the Pelicans are gonna win. So
it's gonna be the Pelicans.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So take that, Sacramento. Hope you enjoyed Tuesday night, you losers. Enjoy it, because you guys are now enjoying the rest of the tournament with us. So suck it. Anyways,
very sour Warriors fan over there.
Tap it.
We will talk about more on the Warriors on Sunday, because there is a lot to discuss on the future of a very historic run. So we'll get to that Sunday, folks. Again, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Join us.
Get that plug in there. Nice plug shot. I like that.
There you go. All right, let's move it to the West. So here's where we get to have some fun, because all of these teams got stars.
Damn.
And it is loaded as hell. So we're going to start with the game that we probably, at least for me, I feel is going to be a slam dunk, which is the number 1 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder are going to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. There's no doubt in my mind the Thunder get this done. I think the Pelicans might have a shot to steal one game, so I'm taking the Thunder to win 4-1. Bottom line is the Thunder have been one of the best defensive teams all season. They've got Chet Holmgren playing. He's not injured. He's playing well. They've got Jalen. What's his name? Jalen Williams, who has been one of
Which
the
one?
most.
They got two. They
Well,
got two Williams
yeah,
brothers.
exactly. He's been the most improved player, in my opinion, over the past year. Then you got
Yeah.
SGA, who has been a MVP candidate at his position, and they've got good coaching behind them. And honestly, they've been a great team all season. I think this is a great matchup for them against the Pelicans. Pelicans do not have any size, and since they don't have your boy, they don't have the Hamburglar playing Zion Williamson. They can't match the size of what Chet Holmgren can do. So yeah, Thunder got this one in the bag, man. I don't think it's
Yeah, I just it's all going to render with Zion Williams coming back, but it's going to be his first playoff experience to say. You got Brandon Ingram coming back from injury, so there's still a little
yeah.
break in time. Although he's having a really, really standout game today here. I think it's going to really come down to Murphy. I think it was Trey Murphy the third. To see what kind of production you're going to get from him in this series because Oklahoma City is going to run up and down that court here. They look like a young version of the Warriors here with the way they get out in transition here. And it all starts with SGA, who again is going to be a dark horse for the MVP. He had a monster season, definitely first team All NBA. But it's the supporting cast, like you said. You got the Williams brothers.
Yep.
You have Chet Holmgren, who finally got a full season. The only thing that's really going to hurt the Thunder is the youth. None of these guys have been in the playoffs, except for Gordon Hayward. But you're not going to rely on Gordon Hayward, in this. You know what I'm saying?
Minutes, man.
So I think that's really gonna hold them. I don't think this is a sweep. I think they do. I think this may go 6, just because it's going to be a fresh environment for a lot of these young guys here.
Yeah.
Inside of it. So I think the Thunder will move on with this, but I just think it's going to take a little more of an effort. I do see them slipping a couple of times. But they'll learn from that here. It's just as they get deep in this tournament in the West, it just gets that much more difficult. So it's one tough way to get introduced to the postseason. But the Thunder in 6, they'll do it on the road against the Squabble Pelicans.
All right, and let's move on to the whoo.
Here's your matchup.
Oh man,
Here
the
we go.
2-7 matchup. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Los Angeles Lakers in a 7-game series. Man, this is going to be a great series. I know a lot of folks are picking the Nuggets to win, which I completely understand. Look, the Nuggets have beat us the last 7 games. But the
beating y'all like drums.
the thing to look out for is, though, the games have always been close between these two teams, and the Nuggets have always done a good job of pulling away from us in the fourth quarter. So I look for the Lakers to come into this game, thankfully winning their first play-in game and getting time off. You're going to have a fully rested LeBron, Anthony Davis. This is really going to come down to a couple things. The first thing is the Lakers can let Jokic have as many points as he wants. That's fine. They cannot let anybody else get off. That's how the Nuggets work. The Nuggets do an excellent job of finding ways to get their premier shooters the ball. And Jokic is right at the center of that by drawing attention to himself and being such a beast in the post. But guys like Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Jamal Murray, I mean, these guys can kill you from the three-point line. And if you're not playing at their pace, or you're so concentrated on Jokic that you forget to guard those guys, the game will be over. Because once those outside shots start falling, then all of a sudden Jokic can go to work, and now they can get anything and everything that they want. They run a very specific style of offense. They run a lot of split action where guys are getting back cuts and coming off screens. KCP especially. Coming off those screens like he's freaking Steph Curry or somebody, and catches the ball either at the free throw line or the 3-point line to knock down a shot. The Lakers are gonna really have to, again, like I said, keep other guys from scoring. They can let Jokic have as many points as he wants, as long as he doesn't get a lot of assists. I think that's the game plan for me going in. That being said, Of course, I'm picking my team to win. Come on, are you stupid? Of course I am.
What? You're taking
The
your team.
Lakers are going to upset the Nuggets, the crispy chicken Nuggets. They're going to upset them in a 7-game series. The Lakers will push it all the way to 7 and win in Denver. I think the Nuggets are coming in after winning a championship. This is not going to be an easy series. The Nuggets have we can play just as big as they can, minus Jokic. So 6'10", Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon at 6'10". We've got Rui Hachimura at 6'9". We've got LeBron at 6'9". We've got guys that can get out there and match up. We just have to find a way to play some type of defense on Jamal Murray and not let Jokic kill us with assists.
Yeah, and I think for the key for the Nuggets, for some KCP is going to be one of them. He loves
playing the Lakers.
Loves playing against the Lakers here.
Yeah.
There's something he's got every time he matches up against the Lakers. Like
ex-teammate.
He don't score. He scores maybe on average of 10 points, but then every once in a while when the Lakers are in town, it's a 25-point night for KCP.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the two biggest players that you're gonna look into are Christian Braun, and I'm gonna go. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna say Reggie Jackson. I think those two are going to have big contributions here because honestly, everything's going to center around Jokic. I think, when you look at the matchup between Austin Reeves and Jamal Murray, that is a tough matchup for Austin Reeves and even D'Angelo Russell here. So I think that's really good what it comes down to. And then, stopping that pick and roll, turn Jokic into a defender. No one does it. He averages 1 block a game. F that.
Yeah.
You have to turn him into a defender, and he does not want to play defense.
No.
He is the James Harden of big men when it comes to wanting to play defense. So you have to keep him away from the paint, or you take it to him because he's only averaging maybe about 2 blocks
a game.
I think it was a block or 2. You know what I'm saying? So you can get to the hoop. It's all about that offense designed to get the pick and roll going, or you gotta get a couple slashes in there here too. Darvin Ham is gonna have to be on top of his A game.
God, did you have to say his name?
You gotta bring it up.
God,
you gotta bring it up, man.
Right.
I'm sorry, but it is also very hard to repeat in this league here. The Warriors were the last team to repeat here, but we've had a new champion every single time. That's how difficult it is to do this. So I think the Lakers do put up a fight. I think that sting from being beat 4-0 will do it. But the Lakers had to come from 2 play-in tournament games to get to this point.
Just one. We only have one.
No. Last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah.
Last year it was 2 games, and then they got into the Memphis series, the hard-fought Warriors series, and they look gas going into that series against the Nuggets here.
Yeah.
I think this will be a different matchup, but I think the Nuggets are still going to – I can't pick the Lakers, man.
I know you can't. It's okay. It's okay.
So I'm taking the Nuggets in 6.
All right.
I think this is going to be a very, very entertaining matchup here. This is probably going to be the best first-round matchup that we get. Just because of what happened last year and the comments that were said from the Nuggets about
Coach
being the
Malone,
Lakers' daddy. Yeah. Coach Malone, he still's got something personal because remember he used to be part of that Laker organization too. So these guys want to prove something here, but it's the Nuggets in 6. Sorry, man, I got to do it.
And just to back you up, Jokic's his average for blocks this year is 0.9. 0.9.
And so he's not even getting a full block. Like, how do you get 0.9 in blocks? Like, do you have to double tap the ball before you get the block? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Where does this rule come in?
It means he has a lot of games with 1 block and a lot of games with none. That's what it means.
It sounds like he has a very little amount of games with 1 block and a very lot of games with no block.
Right. Dude, and so, like, to your point, man, that backs it up. You have to get this guy in foul trouble. You have to play downhill. If I see the Lakers taking unassisted threes, I will be throwing things. I can promise you. The first guy to take an unassisted three unassisted contested three is gonna get a shoe thrown at their head. I can't take it. D'Lo is the only person all allowed to do it, and that's only if he's playing well because he played so bad against this Denver team. It's curious to see how he's going to come out. But enough about that. Let's move on because I could talk about that all day. My team is a big deal right now. Let's go.
I'm saying Austin Reeves takes the first ill-advised 3.
No, it's gonna be LeBron. It's for sure gonna be LeBron. What I'm telling you, he's gonna do that little jab step thing where he
he pretends like he's not going to shoot it.
Exactly.
You know how he does that from the right wing?
Yeah.
Like he pretends like he's not going to do
LeBron,
it.
we all know what you're doing. This is not helpful. Like, your little jab step isn't fooling anybody. You're going to take the 3. Just shoot it. Or pass it. Oh, my God. Anyway. Next series. This is going to be a tough one to pick, me. The Timberwolves are taking on the Suns. Timberwolves being the 3 seed. The Timberwolves we are not familiar with as a playoff team. They've been a very good regular season team, but Timberwolves in the playoffs, huh? We have no idea, at least I don't, what to expect from this team. And Edwards has been prolific this year. Can he carry it into the playoffs? Mike Conley, old as dirt. Can he keep up? Will they find the defensive presence to take points out of the hands of Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker? I don't know. This series, to me, could go either way. I really think the Timberwolves have been the better team during the regular season, but the Suns did a fairly good job at the end of the season getting their guys healthy enough to play be on the court at the same time, because that was the issue during most of the season. They had one guy in and 2 guys out, or 2 guys in and 1 guy out. Now they've got the full piece. You know what? Oh, man, this is tough. I think you got Gobert in there, who can definitely kind of seal off the paint and keep the Suns on the perimeter. But either one of those 3 guys can get hot from the perimeter. I'm going to say
keep any of those guys on the perimeter.
Exactly.
Not at all.
Dude, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. I'm going to go on a limb here. I'll go on a limb. They're the top seed, but I'm going to take the Timberwolves to beat the Suns in a 7-game series. I think those stars will show up. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. This is the whole reason that they got together. I think they will perform. But I think the Timberwolves have a little bit more consistency with each other as a team throughout the regular season, and that has to mean something. So I think that they will come in understanding what to expect from one another, whereas I think the Suns will come in thinking that they could just shoot the crap out of the ball and win every series that they play. So Timberwolves in 7.
Yeah, it all comes down to point guard play, and the Suns ain't got a point guard. And that's been the problem all year. That's been the problem all year.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying that the point guard is the main focus of it, but your point guard can at least control the tempo of the game if it starts getting out of control.
Yeah.
That's what you need, and that's what Mike Conley can do.
Absolutely.
You're asking for 3 guys to drop 25 points a game. You're asking 3. So first of all, how are you going to facilitate that? And then second of all, who's going to lead that charge? Are you going to have Devin Booker bring up the ball? You're going to have Kevin Durant bring up the ball? Bradley Beal's not a point guard here. You know what I'm saying? Nurkic, look, he's a nice center, but he's going to have to deal with Karl Anthony Towns, and he's also got to deal with Rudy Gobert. So he's going to have his hands full down there, to say. I think Ant Edwards is going to have a tall task, so he's going to just be a wash. He just has to be great at some point. And this could be a coming out party for Ant Edwards as well, just because of the way that he kind of ended the season. He was a monster towards the end of the season here. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins most improved player this year because of what he's done and what he's meant to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But in all honesty, just not having a point guard in the playoffs is a very big risk to do here, because you need a guy to control the tempo when it starts getting chaotic here.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, I just think the Timberwolves with Mike Conley, I will put it out there, will be a big factor for them, because he's been through these battles with Memphis. To say so, there's a lot of good veteran experience. You got KD on the other side here, If it turns into a shootout, it's the Suns. But I just don't see Minnesota allowing it to be a shootout in this point here. So give me Minnesota in 5. I don't think the Suns they'll compete, but I just don't think they find ways to win games because they don't have the ways to win it. You're
Yeah,
just isolation ball every possession down. There's
yeah,
very little movement with it when it comes to the Suns playing basketball.
yeah, absolutely. And man, and let's move on to what may be. You talked about the Lakers and Nuggets, but I think this series is going to be extremely entertaining. We've got the Los Angeles Clippers, who for once in their lives have found their way into the top five, and they're taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who went on a complete tear the last part of the season and went from, I think they were like an eighth or seventh seed all the way up to fifth,
Yeah.
and somehow turned it into a 50-win season. Um, Dude, the Mavericks kill the Clippers, and the last couple of times they played them, they've roasted them. Now I will say when they beat them the last time, they did not, the situation where there were some players who were not there. Kawhi Leonard is healthy. You've got Paul George, you've got Harden, you got your full big three. Luka has been playing out of his mind, and then you got that and Kyrie, PJ Washington. Of course, you got Tim Hardaway Jr. The Mavs, they look really good at the end of the season. This is going to be a tough matchup to pick, but you already know who I ain't picking, and I won't be picking
the Clippers.
I will not be picking the Clippers. No, as a Laker fan, I'm not. No, I'm going with the Mavericks. I think Luka Doncic will dominate, and I think that the guys that you think would be able to go out there and guard him are not the same dudes they were. Kawhi Leonard is not the same guy he was 2 or 3 years ago. Paul George, not the same dude. These guys are getting old. James Harden, it's the playoffs, so he's
about to ghost. He's about to ghost
That's
in the playoffs here. Let's just be honest.
He might as well just wrap his whole face up in that beard and just disappear. So yeah, this is where they die. So I'm taking the Mavericks. Kyrie has something to play for. Luka for sure has something to play for. I think these guys are going to come out and they're going to show out. The Clippers do not have a very good home court advantage because they don't have fans. So I think that this is going to be a great series for the Mavericks. The Mavericks will take this series in 6 games, 4-2. Bye-bye, Clippers. And I hope they break the whole thing up. I hope they fire their head coach so that the Lakers can get them. And then just be done with it. They go back to being the Clippers. Move it to your nice, shiny new stadium and put up, I don't know, maybe host a Beyonce concert there or something to get people to go. I don't know. But it won't be because of Clipper games, that's for sure.
You sound like me when we talk about Sacramento, to say the least here. So I can understand where that's coming from. This matchup is, if you want to understand how loaded the West was, look at this 4-5 matchup compared to the Eastern Conference 4-5 matchup here. It does not match here. Paul George, man, you can't be called playoff P and you don't live up to this name. First of all,
why do they call him that?
Why do they? When all he's been is no further than the Eastern Conference Finals here when he was with the Indiana Pacers.
Right. Why?
How do you call yourself playoff P and you ain't never been to the NBA Finals? It's mind blowing how that happens here. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard, I'm shocked it played even this much amount of games here.
I'm happy
to be honest.
He could crack at any moment though, folks. He played 60 games.
It is exactly. James Harden, Mr. Ghost himself. I don't trust him. You got Russell Westbrook, who talk about a wild card. Who knows what version of Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, you might get good, you might get bad. You never know.
He did have a bit of a up season, I would say. I don't think it was a bad season for Russell Westbrook.
He's been a contributor. Yeah, absolutely.
This getting out of that Lakers situation where for some reason all the pressure was on, everything was put on him, and then he's come to the Clippers here and he's played very, loose style of basketball. So Good for him. I think Ty Lue is a great coach to have this team ready to go. I just don't think they do it past the Mavericks, man. There's just look. I'm not saying Luka and Kyrie are giant, players, but
Yeah.
how do you have a very small backcourt and they find a way to be the number 5 seed?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impressive here. So I like the Mavericks here. I think this playoff run is just as big as for Luka as it is for Jason Tatum here. Luka is right on that verge of superstar MVP status here. Like he's there. But
Right.
what are you doing to get your team to the finals? He ran into the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They got absolutely shellacked. And he hasn't been back since. He's having a very, very good season. How do you turn that around in the postseason? Where are you? Just like Jason Tatum, there cannot be one bad game from Luka in this postseason here to solidify that superstar status.
Yeah.
So I will take the Mavericks. It's hard to trust the Clippers. It really is, man. There's so much talent and uncertainty when it comes to those names where you can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
can't trust anyone here. But at least on the other end with the Mavericks, you got two consistent players in Kyrie Irving and Luka, and plus their bench. PJ Washington Jr. has been a godsend for them since coming over in that trade with the Hornets here. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't get how. Who's their center here? The guy's been on the team for so long
What are you talking
and has
about?
done for the Mavericks. He went to
Oh,
Stanford too. I can't remember his
dude, I
name.
don't know. Let's see, Mavs.
Um, I'm blanking on his name here, dude, and it's terrible because he went to Stanford, and
That's your
that's my
school.
team I like to root. I mean, I didn't go to school there. It's just to be honest, your boy wasn't smart for that kind of stuff, to say
It's
the
all
least.
good, man. It's all good. Daniel
But
Gafford? No.
no, not Daniel Gafford.
Oh, Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell.
Dwight
There you
Powell.
go.
How is Dwight Powell still the starting center for the
Hey,
Dallas
man.
Mavericks?
How long has he been in the league for
He's
now?
been in the league for a hot minute.
Dude, yeah, he has, man. He was draft pick 2014. 10 years.
He's been 10 years into this league, and
I mean, he
for
doesn't
some
average.
reason,
He only averages like 5 points a game. I mean, he's,
but that's what I'm saying here. It's like, where did you come from, bro?
Dang, man.
Um, who else am I missing from the? Yeah, I mean the Mavericks. I'm taking the Mavericks in this first round. Let's see here, 6. They'll clinch it at home. I think this would be a good matchup here for both teams, but I'm taking the Mavs in 6.
All right, Mavs in 6. Like it. Like it. Well, folks, that's all the picks, man. We got all of them in. This Sunday we'll actually get to comment on a few game ones, a lot of game ones, all the game ones.
Yeah, I think all game ones are going to be this
And
weekend.
talk about what we saw. Hopefully there's some games that surprise us, some players that surprise us, a few upsetting game ones that we didn't expect to see. If the Heat win, I can only imagine how happy B is going to be with his prediction. And I'm looking forward to, the Lakers going up to Mile High and trying to get something done is not going to be fun. But hopefully they should already be there. If I were the Lakers, I would have been in Denver 2 days ago. Just so
I've been in Denver on Wednesday.
Yeah, just so you can get adjusted to the altitude. Because I don't know if you know this, but when teams go play in Denver, it takes a whole half before you even in the place to play at a high level up there because of the lack of oxygen going on up there. Yeah, man. So I'm excited, man. This is gonna be great. I love some of these matchups. I can't wait to see the Clippers and the Mavs, the Timberwolves and the Suns, and I think on the East side, I think the Knicks and the Sixers, and the Celtics and the Heat are games that are gonna kind of stick out to me. So yeah, man, I'm ready. I'm ready, and folks, hopefully you are too.
It's safe to say the entire Western Conference playoffs is just going to be an absolute movie for everyone to enjoy here. Because when you look at the next round matchups, it gets even better.
Yeah.
After that there. So, and for all my Warrior fans, y'all need to pay attention to certain teams. Okay, and I'm going to tell you these teams on who you need to watch out for. You need to watch the Bucks. All right. You need to watch. Who else is it? The Suns. Who else am I thinking here? Who else are we going to steal players from? Let's see here. Maybe Denver? No, we don't care about Denver. Anyways, watch those two teams because they got superstars who may not be happy. Oh, Philly. Watch the Philly series.
What, y'all gonna get Joel Embiid or something?
Hey, man.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. Well, that's enough of that, folks. That's enough. That's enough of that. That is enough of this. Now this guy, he's starting to talk all types of weirdness.
We can't watch. We can't. As a Warrior fan, we can't sit there and go, "Yeah, I can't wait for this weekend," because we've been in Cancun since Tuesday, and we're gonna stay in Cancun up until October. So, might as well start cherry picking on who we want. Oh, don't forget Sunday, Team USA came out.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
We'll talk about it on Sunday, but yeah,
we're gonna talk about it Sunday.
It's crazy team
because that roster should. Oh, Jesus.
I'm surprised that many stars showed up to play at the thing. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. They're gonna blow everybody out by 50. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna enjoy it.
So ponder this: is it the Dream Team? Which team would have been better, the Dream Team or this team? We can debate that on Sunday.
We can talk about it.
Absolutely.
Dream.
Yep.
That's tough. All right. Well, we are going to head on out. Oh, Mama Lay dropped a good show. Giants suck for allowing Apple TV to have the game. So Apple TV has the rights to the Giants games?
No. So Apple TV does a game every once in a while for baseball, and tonight are the Giants. And if you don't have Apple TV, you ain't watching the game.
Dang. Well, folks,
I know.
If you got an Apple phone, get your 3 months free or whatever the crap it is and try to.
It's a week, 1 week free with Apple TV.
1 week. That sucks.
Yeah. Talk about a slap in the face with this.
Yeah, this is the same thing we saw with that playoff game in the NFL and the Peacock thing. So, it's getting that way, Mama Lay. I don't know what's going on, but everybody's trying to make more money as though they don't have enough, which is ridiculous. Us regular people don't have enough
I know.
money. Not
us 9 to 5 workers.
Not sports franchises and television corporations. They have plenty of money, especially Apple. Apple TV is like a plop in the toilet for Apple. They don't even care about Apple TV. They make so much other stuff and make money off so many other things. Apple TV is just something they do for kicks and giggles, man.
I'm so shocked that they want to do something like this here. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
this is just ridiculous, man.
Bring boxing back, make it free. Stop this garbage. Nobody wants to pay a bunch of money to see a regularly broadcasted game. I don't know, man. Tired of this. It's like sports doesn't even want our money anymore. They want more money from us is what it is.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll forget about my subscription at some point and start seeing a random $9.99 charge where I'm like, wait, what? Where's this coming from?
And that's how they
then I can't remember which subscription it is.
That's how they get you every time, man. Every time. All right, folks, we're going to head on out. It is late. Enjoy your weekend. Get some rest. Thank you, Mama Lay, for jumping in the chat and everybody else who was watching tonight. Go ahead and hit that subscription button. We appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the like button on the video. Hit the notification bell. We will be back on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, not Eastern time. So we're again 6:30 p.m. Pacific time for our show on Sunday. Join us as we will talk about all the happenings in the NBA playoffs, some baseball, and more. All right, folks, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining us, and we are out.
Peace.